just 24 hours. So these trees do need their own defense mechanisms. Let's say one of these trees is being predated upon by these bugs. It will then send out a chemical message to the other trees in the same grove through the root system. When that message is received by the other trees, these other trees will begin to produce their own proteins and enzymes. These proteins and enzymes will actually make their leaves very difficult to digest for these bug species. And furthermore, it actually slows them down quite a bit. Now in this area, if you look at the canopies of these aspen trees, you might notice kind of a weird color variation going on. And that is actually because these aspen trees froze a couple of weeks ago when they were still blooming. Now that meant that they would lose most of their leaves, and just in the beginning of July there, these aspen trees had no leaves on them, which is very weird to see. But that is why there are two different colors in these aspens. You have a very light spring green, which are the new leaves that the trees have just bloomed because they were lost before. And you have the more summer green color, which is a little bit darker and a little bit colder. And those are the leaves that did not fall off when these trees froze in the end of June there. Now it is said that the aspen tree is more important to more species of wildlife than any other tree on planet Earth. And this is because of the sheer amount of wild animals that use these trees throughout the year for their survival. Now one more interesting fact about the aspens is that they actually do produce a very fine white powder on their bark. This white powder does actually work as an effective sunscreen for humans, and it has an SPF of around 15. The aspen trees grow this white powder because they do only grow at elevations of 6,000 feet above sea level or higher, and because of that, the UV rays are a little bit more intensive here, and that does mean that these trees need their very own UV protection. Now coming up here shortly, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 100 yards or so, we are going to enter into our first avalanche debris area. All of the avalanches that you will see across our train tracks today take place back last year in March of 2019. Now as we do enter this avalanche debris field, be sure to check out both the downhill and the uphill sides of the train, and you will get an idea for just how destructive an avalanche can be. And all of the trees and debris you see down there beneath us did used to cover the hillside above us. Now on the uphill side, you might notice all of those pink flowers up there. Those flowers are known as fireweed. Fireweed is actually the first species of plant to grow back after a wildfire or after an avalanche, because they are very hardy plants and they utilize the nutrients that are freshly put into the soil. Now back to avalanches. Avalanches can actually move downhill in